You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Sternberg Museum of Natural History, also by The Dentist.
Stop! Where are we going?
The Sternberg!
Don't get left behind. We're waiting for you here at the Sternberg Museum, where there's always new opportunities for
Discovery under the dome.
Come discover a one-of-a-kind dental center for the whole family at The Dentist. Dr. Melinda Miner and Dr. Michael Holmberg and their warm and friendly staff love working with children of all ages to help keep everyone smile happy and healthy. They recommend children start seeing the dentist by age 1. The Dentist is now accepting new patients, children, and their families. Visit them at 1010 Downing Avenue in Hayes or online at thedentistinhayes.com.
Hello, and welcome to You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. My name is Dana Stanton, and I'm the coordinator of early childhood grants for USD 489. And with me today is Monica Ptacek. Hello, Monica. How are you?
Dana. I'm great, thanks.
Now, first of all, Monica, tell us what organization you work for and what do you do there?
I work for Early Childhood Connections, a prenatal to age 3. I'm the health coordinator there.
Now, today, this is a very timely interview. We're going to be talking about the cold and the flu season. So, what is the difference between the cold and the flu?
Well, both the cold and the flu are caused by viruses. So since it is a viral infection, antibiotics do not help. And a lot of people really struggle with that because they have the chest that hurts and the cough and they think, oh, I need to go get an antibiotic. It's viral. It will not help either. They call it the common cold for a reason. There are actually over 100 viruses that give us cold symptoms. They're out there prolifically this time of year, so we really need to do what we can to prevent ourselves from getting a cold.
Now, what is specifically the common cold? It's a viral, it's a respiratory thing?
It's a respiratory infection. It's an upper respiratory infection, meaning that symptoms usually are you have a lot of nasal congestion. Some people have that real feeling of stuffiness. Some people have a runny nose. A sore throat is very common, particularly at the beginning of a cold. A cough. Some people may run a slight fever with a cold. Some of the other symptoms might be minor body aches and just that feeling of tiredness. You just don't have the energy that you usually typically have.
Now, you say the common cold, and that makes it sound like it's not that big of a deal, but it is. Just you have some statistics here that are. Tell us about those.
Well, they have reported from, I think the Mayo Clinic said that 22 million school days are lost every year due to children having the common cold. That is a tremendous amount of time lost in our educational system. And it's also the most common cause for people going to the doctor in the winter.
Well, and I think that would be the same with people not being able to go to work.
Right.
And if your child is sick with a cold, you usually have to stay home with your, well, you always have to stay home with your child.
Yes, it's a major impact on the workplace, and really, if it's impacting the workplace, it's impacting people's lives economically.
Now, once you get the cold, typically how long does it last?
It can last up to 2 weeks. So a lot of people think that's when they need the antibiotics because this just won't go away. So they'll go to the doctor, and if they get antibiotics, then all of a sudden they start feeling better. And
they would have got better anyway.
And the timing is just that the virus was ending up anyway.
Now tell us again about some of those symptoms.
Okay, the symptoms usually are a lot of nasal congestion, stuffy head, runny nose, sore throat, the cough. Usually with the cold, it's a more productive cough. With the flu, it's not. And then people can run a fever, just do not absolutely feel very good.
Horrible,
They just feel tired.
I always
and
say
achy.
blah.
Blah. That's a good way to describe it.
Now we know that antibiotics don't do any good for the common cold. So how do you treat a cold?
If you have a cold, you need to make sure that you're getting plenty of rest. You need to have lots of fluids. That's one of the best things you can do. Hand washing, hand washing, hand washing to prevent the spread of a cold.
Yeah, and that was my next thing about prevention. How do you prevent the cold? Yeah.
The prevention is mostly avoiding. If you're planning on going out for coffee with your friend and she calls and she says, oh man, I need a cup of coffee, my throat hurts, I'm not feeling good, I think I might be coming down with something. Hey, let's reschedule.
Yeah.
Just avoid those situations where you know you're going to put yourself where people have a cold. And then hand washing is the only really other way you can prevent the cold.
Now, for the flu, tell us the difference. What's the flu?
Okay, the flu, again, there's a lot of similarities, and that's why it's so hard for people to distinguish between the cold and the flu. But the flu is much more severe, usually. If you want a definitive diagnosis that you have the flu, they're going to have to do a throat swab, and that has to be done within the first couple of days.
Now, how would you treat the flu as opposed to a cold?
With the flu, you're usually going to be taking either Tylenol or Motrin for those symptoms. When you have body aches, like you do with a cold, they're minor, you can deal with it. With the flu, they can be really severe. And the tiredness is overwhelming. A lot of times people absolutely don't get out of bed for days with the flu. So it's maybe the same symptoms, but they are ramped up. They are much more serious.
So how do you know when it's time to go to the doctor? So throw in the white flag, I got to go to the doctor. When does that time come?
Okay, well, for small children, you want to make sure that you're calling the doctor if they have any difficulty breathing. If they are showing a lot of lethargy, meaning that they have no energy to do anything, they want to just sit on your lap, and every time you look down, they're dozing, they're sleeping, they're just so tired and have no energy. And of course, if they run a high fever, or they have a persistent sore throat where they can no longer eat or drink.
Okay. Now, prevention for the flu.
Well, one of the big things for preventing the flu is the flu vaccine. There are 3 strains of flu. There's the A, B, and C strain, and the CDC tracks all of this data that they collect every year, and they try to predict which strain is going to be the most prevalent for the following year so that they can develop a vaccine for that. And most of the time they do a really great job of predicting what strain of flu is going to be there. So a flu vaccine is recommended for everyone over the age of 6 months. Young children and the elderly are most hard hit by the flu. They get it really some serious complications with the flu and oftentimes require hospitalization. So it's not a minor thing.
Well, I know I have a loved one who has diabetes, and that puts that person more at risk for the flu, and he has been hospitalized with the flu, and this is a young man, not an elderly person.
Yes.
So,
anybody with a metabolic disorder like diabetes is more susceptible, and so we really need to be aware of the people around us and not only get the flu to protect ourselves, but like you said, for family members who are elderly, for pregnant women, for young children, all of those. If a whole community gets out and gets their flu vaccine, it's providing immunity for your whole community, not just yourself, but it's taking part in making your whole community healthier. And again, hand washing.
Hand washing. Thank you so much. Wonderful information. Thank you, Monica.
Thanks, Dana.
You've been watching You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. Parents, remember, you are your child's first and best teacher. Thank you.
You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Sternberg Museum of Natural History, also by The Dentist.